Hey there, fellow gamers, it's Java, and today we're answering the big question, should you buy Black Myth Wukong? After finally completing the game, exploring all the hidden areas, taking down all the bosses, I think I'm at a pretty good point to where I can give you my personal opinion on this game. In this video, I'll break down all the reasons why Wukong might be your next favorite game, but also highlight the areas where it might fall short, because let's be real, no game is perfect. Let's get into it. If you've played Dark Souls, Elden Ring, or Bloodborne, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with these kind of games. Black Myth Wukong is similar in a lot of ways, but also very different. Let's start with the pros of the game. The game has stunning visuals and an immersive world. Whether you're in a misty bamboo forest, exploring ancient temples, or fighting monstrous creatures, every scene feels like a painting. Details in the environments, character models, and even the particle effects are some of the best I've seen this generation. Black Myth Wukong definitely pushes the boundaries of what Unreal Engine 5 can do. Sometimes you just want to pause to soak in the atmosphere. Where this game truly shines is the combat. The combat in this game is phenomenal. It's fast, fluid, and incredibly responsive. You've got your basic combos, spells, and the ability to shapeshift into some of the bosses you've defeated. How cool is that? Each form has its own moveset, making combat feel fresh and dynamic. Whether you're dodging, deflecting, or unleashing a heavy attack, the game rewards skill and timing. If you're into combat systems like Sekiro, you'll love this. Another cool part of the combat system is its customization, since there are 3 different combat stances or combat styles you can use, so you can just pick the one that fits you the most. One thing I was really impressed with was the variety of bosses. Each boss feels like a unique challenge with its own personality and attack patterns. The game doesn't recycle ideas here. Every encounter feels fresh, from mini-bosses to secret bosses that are scattered throughout the game. If you love intense boss battles with multiple phases, Wukong delivers on that front. This game has a ton of hidden areas, and if you're a completionist, you'll love this aspect. Some of these secrets are so well hidden that you probably even need a guide in order to find them. When you finally find these areas, it kind of feels like discovering treasure. There's secret bosses, there's new abilities, hidden lore, completely new parts of the map that you unlock. It's pretty amazing. Let's just mention the rich mythological setting. The setting of the game is based on the Chinese classic Journey to the West, and it does a fantastic job of immersing you in that world. From the lore to the visual design of the enemies and bosses, the game draws you into this mythological universe in a way that feels authentic and fresh. Even if you're not familiar with Chinese mythology, you'll appreciate how the game weaves these stories together. My recommendation would be to just watch a short lore video about the Journey to the West, so you just have a better understanding of what this game is all about. But now let's talk about the cons. I have to say, as much as I love the combat, the customization options fall short. There are very few weapons to choose from compared to other action RPGs, and you cannot upgrade them. This really limits experimentation with different builds and playstyles. If you're hoping for a deep customization system like in Dark Souls or Elden Ring, you might feel restricted here. I mean, if you think about the Souls games, there's hundreds of weapons, you can upgrade each and every one of them. That way, you can develop your own different builds, stuff like that. And unfortunately, in Wukong, this is just very limited, as there's only a handful of weapons in this game, and since you're not able to upgrade them, you have to exchange them always with the newest weapon you unlock in order for your damage to not fall off within the game. Another downside, especially for those who love Soulsborne multiplayer, is the lack of PvP or co-op. There's no multiplayer component at all, no invasions, no cooperative boss fights. And while I personally enjoyed the single player experience, I know many players would miss that extra layer of interaction. I mean, so do I. Adding multiplayer would just improve the longevity of the game. Since once you've completed the game once, twice, 3 times, you've seen all the areas, you've discovered all the secrets, all the items, etc. What is there really to do? And if you compare it to the Souls games where you just can hop into an invasion, do a boss together with a friend or another online player, that just really helps with the longevity. Another point is the linear level design and the invisible walls. I mean, the game looks huge, but in reality, it's fairly linear. You'll come across invisible walls that stop you from exploring further, and while the game has hidden areas, it doesn't encourage free exploration like other open world games. It can feel like a boss rush at times, which might be a bit limiting for some players. And while the bosses are fantastic, the regular enemies, not so much. Many of them feel like cannon fodder and don't respawn, so once you've cleared an area, it stays empty. This makes some sections of the game feel underwhelming compared to the intense boss battles. If you think about the Souls games, there's a lot of areas where it's more difficult to get to the boss than actually defeating the boss. This is, in my opinion, the opposite with Black Myth Wukong, as getting through the areas is really easy, but on the other hand, the bosses are really hard. I mean, there are some bosses that took me like 20 tries to defeat them. And lastly, the performance issues. This game is virtually stunning, but it's also a bit of a resource hog. On lower end systems, expect frame dips and occasional crashes. If you're playing on a high-end rig, you should be fine. But as I said, for everybody else, be prepared to sacrifice visual quality for playability. So now let's get to the conclusion. So should you buy Black Myth Wukong? My answer, absolutely yes. If you're a fan of high octane, skill-based combat, stunning visuals, and epic boss battles, this game is a definite buy. The mythological setting and rich storytelling make it stand out in the action RPG genre. That said, if you're someone who values steep customization, PvP, or open world exploration, you might feel a bit restricted. But if you can overlook those aspects, Wukong delivers an unforgettable experience, and I highly recommend giving it a try. Let me know in the comments if you're planning to pick it up. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Overall, I can only say I really had a blast with this game, and I'm sure you will too. I wish you a wonderful day. See you next time.